Well, let's go ahead and see if we can manage to find anything good. Don't really have high hopes, but you never know. Nekketsu Kouha Kunio-Kun. Well then, a Kunio-Kun game. Maybe this will be pretty good then. Final battle. So, Nekketsu High, Hot-Blooded Kunio-Kun's final battle. 2000 Ice translations. Yes, we have an actual English translation. Let's see. Easy, medium, hard. One player, start. A mysterious company named Munakata came to town, and its workers began to harass the townspeople. Munakata's president had an only son named Yuji. One day Yuji was passing by Nekketsu High and fell in love with Miho, so he tried to take her. Luckily, Hiro helped Miho. Escape, but they caught up with him. Hearing the news, Kunio heads out. Well, hey. Frickin' sweet. Is what I'd like. There we go. So, you know, River City Ransom portable. Except I can't dash. Why can't I dash? Okay, that was awesome. And the music even does sound like, a little bit like the River City Ransom theme. Okay, can I... How do I dash? I don't seem to have... Okay, so this is looking like a more Double Dragon-esque River City Ransom than a proper River City Ransom sequel. Okay, we can't go into the high school. This is not feeling even remotely as fast or as good as River City Ransom. And would you cut that out? Okay, that was awesome. So it is winning me over with these, very frickin' sweet attack moves. Really wish I could dash. Also, I can't, yeah, holding down both buttons is a duck, then you can, well, hitting either button from a duck, gives us the spinning uppercut. Looks like that'll be a really good move to make use of there. Possibly. Assuming we can hit with it. Wow. Okay, looks like a post office. Yeah, I want to like this one, but it's just not. Doesn't feel fast enough or good enough. And just like... nope. Thought that would be a boss, but it turned out to be two guys in one, somehow. Interesting stuff. Just the lack of the run, the speed of the punches and the kicks, the lack of the jump, the lack of having an inventory and stats to level up. Like, even with, like, Double Dragon, you had, technical level ups, in which, you know, as you beat down more enemies, you gained access to new moves. I'm really hoping that's gonna be the case here, but, I don't know. Okay, one major thing it has going for it is, of course, the River City Ransom sprite work. I guess I should call it the Kunio-Kun sprite work, since you know, not everything in it was strictly related to River City Ransom. That was just one example. Oh, jeez. Haha, there we go. Oh, I'm informed that the Game Boy Double Dragon did not level up, but that's a bit beside the point. Since, you know, the main ones did, and that's what I was referring to. Come on. Yeah, the lack of, you know, lack of running, lack of jumping, lack of real moveset here is also making it a lot harder to actually fight. Okay, there we go. Oh, and apparently that was a tobacco shop. Only just read the words on it as we were exiting the screen. So I guess we're now down into the subway. And it really looks like this is a lot more of a normal style beat-em-up with, actual just regular stages, no backtracking, no stats or other ways of leveling up or gaining new moves. Not even any ways to, like, enemies here have weapons, but we can't pick them up ourselves. So, yeah. This is really not good. I am a big fan of the Kunio-Kun games, and, you know, I mean, River City Ransom is the obvious go-to one, since almost everybody knows about it who is a gamer of this, retro-style stuff. And it is a shining example, really, of a beat-em-up. And a lot of the other games in the series, even the sports games, are freaking awesome. But this one just falls short. I guess it's just the limitations of the system. Of course, now I'm really curious if, at a certain point, once we have enough, well, points, if we get an extra life, but, if not, I'm pretty sure then that the points would then be pointless. Wouldn't be too surprising, since, you know, that is how the vast majority of games around this time were. They would just have points because it was still the way of video games to have a score. Doesn't matter if it actually does anything for you, just, it's a video game, it should have a score. Doesn't matter if the system holds high scores in memory after you turn the game off. Doesn't matter, it's a video game, it should have score. And points, and yeah. Never a thing I was really a fan of. And of course, the most obvious example of this was in Mega Man, where in the first game the points didn't matter so much that, the points didn't matter so much. Great sentence. The points mattered so little that they took them out for the second game. So, stage over, I guess? Stage over, I guess. Yeah, there were a lot of NES games. Tetris, obviously, as you said, is one of them. A lot of games that did have high scores list, but didn't save them after you turned off the game itself. California Games is another one. They had the, okay, I think I see how this is meant to be. We're on the inside of the subway train. It's just that, this one connecting part between the cars is all that is being shown on the outside of it. That looked really weird. Train of thought, what was I talking about? Right, NES games. California Games had the high score record for each one of the 6 different games. But of course, as soon as you turned it off, all the high scores would be reset back to the initial settings, so yeah. And Marble Madness was the same, I think. Pretty much all of those early Rare games were very much in that vein. That is a good point. The subway lights are moving, but not the bricks. Creates an interesting effect. So I have no idea how he was dodging all of that. Well, not really dodging, but not being hit by all of that. Okay, stage over. I really prefer it when there are things like boss music for the bosses that we face, or, you know, things that make it obvious that we are getting to the end of a stage. Also, the fact that the guy in the previous level had a chain whip kind of makes it that much more obvious that, you know, we came close to having the player able to use weapons, we just didn't quite make it that far. So, eh. I will say that that is a nice touch, the fact that, the screen moved over before I started walking. That is always an amazing thing in games like this. A thing that is so often overlooked, especially in early Konami games. They were like the kings of having you have to be directly at the edge of the screen to move the screen over, and then having enemies spawn past the edge and hurt you as you walked forward. Yeah, this is kind of failing the main thing of beat-em-ups. This has gotten really repetitive and boring. It's just not fun to play. Especially when you get stun-locked by things that seem like they shouldn't stun-lock you. It's like, punch, punch, punch. Yeah, I'm totally stun-locked by this. I can't move or respond. And the music, it's really fast-paced and upbeat, and sounds like it should be attached to a much faster game. So I think this is, the first guy in a Kunio-Kun game I've seen which has actually had a guy with a gun. Like, they had a couple in Double Dragon, the guy at the very end who had a machine gun being one of the most obvious and notorious ones for just how goddamn difficult he was to beat. But, yeah, Kunio-Kun did not have many guys armed with guns. Are you fuck? Okay. Alright, so, wow. I thought each one of those dots was going to be a stage. And I was about to nope right on out of the game at that. Well, once I clear these two guys off, I'm gonna go find out if there is a walkthrough for this game. and just find out exactly how many stages there are. Okay, so heading over here, we are on Game Boy. We want to open up. Why am I in the ends? It starts with D. Herp-a-derp. Downtown Nekketsu, there is no... Or does it? No, it does start with N. There is hope yet. There might be an FAQ. Yes, there is an FAQ. Hurrah! Blah. Let's see. Yeah. There are a couple of special moves. Wait, what? Oh, damn it! I clicked on the wrong thing. Herp-a-derp. Yeah, I clicked on the one that was for the, Nintendo World Soccer one. Okay, so... Wait, what? Okay, so, apparently this game is evidently amazingly short. So, all of the things that we have completed up to this point, all of that was Stage 1. This game has 3 stages, which are all about that long. So I will leave this up to my stream audience. Finish this thing, since it is not going to take all that much longer. Or say, yeah, no, we've seen more than enough. And I'll just throw out a random fun fact while I'm waiting for the audience to respond. The UFO there, you notice, it's actually an interesting thing in that in Japan, the crane games are actually called UFO catchers. Because, that's just what they call them all. UFO catchers. So, very rarely you will see them actually referred to as crane games, but the majority of the time, you will hear or see them say, UFO catcher. Alright, we have one reluctant vote to finish, and I can completely understand the reluctance because, it being short is about all that I can say good about it at this point. Okay, seriously. Okay, and more votes for finishing it, mainly due to its shortness. That is actually working out pretty well. Helps when I do it correctly, though. Helps when I don't get kicked in the face. Or when I'm actually properly lined up, that would be a really helpful thing as well. Okay. Again, the fact that they were able to give the enemies weapons really would have been nice if we could, you know, pick them up after the enemies dropped them, or after the enemy died. If there were any real resemblance to the rest of the Kunio-Kun series. And I think there's even a lot of the, Kunio sports games where you can pick up things and use them as weapons. So when you have stuff like, I don't know, soccer or racing or, you know, well, not racing, but like track-style running, that has the player picking up and making use of weapons, and this one, which could have been an awesome sequel to frickin' River City Ransom, or at least be very much done in that style. The potential is what mainly has me not really enjoying this. This could have been so much more, and instead it's just very, very meh. Oh, hey Drake, this is Nekketsu Kunio-Kun Final Battle. It is in the Kunio-Kun series. Best known game... Oh, okay, we've got a biker dude. Best known game here in the States is River City Ransom. This will be tricky. There we go. Alright. Doing pretty good. Although I will say, I will give it the credit, we do very obviously have two-player, and it would be simultaneous, so, you know, that is a point in its favor. The fact that it is not purely single-player is a good thing for this. I think this would be a hell of a lot easier if you had two players. Of course, then you'd have two people who are kind of disappointed in the game and not really having a lot of fun, but at least you'd be able to get through it easier and quicker. No, this is in the series, because River City Ransom was one game in the Kunio-Kun series. And there are dozens upon dozens of them in Japan. This is just one of the many. And it's actually kind of a fun thing in that the company, Technos, originally made a game on the arcade called Renegade, and from there developed two very different essential sequels to the game. One of them being Double Dragon, the other being River City Ransom. And they each sort of branched off and formed their own very involved series. Looks like we're going through the subway again. Well, that's interesting to note. I was just informed that the Game Boy version of Double Dragon 2 was actually a reskinned Kunio-Kun game. Nope, total miss. Now let's try and avoid that, shall we? There. Oh dear. Well, looks like we're going in whole hog for the whole bosses as regular enemies now. And some people are thinking that this... Wait. I did not even notice! The FAQ I was reading was for Double Dragon 2. It is exactly this game that I'm playing, reskinned. Oh wow. So, I'm going to keep this in, and also keep Double Dragon 2 in. I don't think I will do a full playthrough of Double Dragon 2, but it's still worth it just to eventually see the reskin. Oh jeez. Save stated into it. Oh well. Hooray! We can carry on. There. No, I don't think I'll be having any chain whipping today. Don't think that Kunio here is into that sort of thing. Yep, and that one Satsui that you just mentioned, that would be this one that I'm playing right now.